Hey everybody, I got my Power Ranger shirt on, but I'm going to talk politics. And I'm doing this again because ran out of space because I had too many things. So I deleted everything. I'm going to basically restart. I live in Memphis. I live in Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County, Memphis, Tennessee. So there's this mayor election going on. And basically, I did my research on it. I've watched multiple debates and I'm going to give my take on the 17. I think there might be 18 candidates now running. Uh, there's 18 candidates running, I believe. 17 candidates. One I don't have any information about, but he was a former city councilman, only Republican running, I think is what they said. Uh, but I digress. I wrote no. I'm going to tell you why I think it's a no, and then I got some maybes on people. Of so without further ado, let's get on with this. And if you're not in Memphis, maybe you don't care. If you're in, you probably won't care. But if you maybe by watching it, you'll learn more about my political stance or whatnot. One thing I'm going to say is that for the majority of candidates, a lot of them have their own websites, so you can go visit their websites and read their own platforms yourself. Um, and another thing I'm going to say is the majority of them have basically the same ideas or good ideas about economic development, fixing the streets and roads, lowering crime, reducing crime, um, youth development, um, and many of them are and have been community activists and whatnot in the city, or are politicians and or businessmen within the city. So now that's an introduction. Now let's go. Let's go on with the things. First, we have I may mispronounce people's names, but I believe this is Carnitas Atwater or Carnitas Atwater. I'm a no for her because I think she'd be better off running her historical history museum. Yes, she's a nurse. Yes, she or a doctor or whatever. Uh, but she's ran for various different things, and she keeps losing, which means they don't want her. Okay. Yes, she's a community activist. Yes, she has her own black museum, black history type museum. Yes, she's educated and smart and all that, but for me, she's a no. I mean, it's that pretty simple. Next is Jennings Bernard, which is a maybe. Interesting, and part of the reason why he's a maybe, besides the other reasons I'm gonna give, is he said he'd rather have your vote than your money, um, which is very interesting. Um, he's going to be tough on crime. I mean, he's going to be tough on crime because he was the military police for the Marines. He's been in leadership positions for his whole entire life in business and politics and different things. Plus, he's been 18 years sheriff's department. He's a very interesting guy. Don't think I found a website for him, but I did find a bunch of information about him, like podcasts and whatnot, which that's cool. There's podcasts where he talked and whatnot. Actually, going to watch another one about him that lasts an hour if I can go back and find it. Number 3 is Floyd Bonner. He is our current Shelby County Sheriff. He's a no for me because I don't think he's constitutional enough, and he has not done the best job as sheriff. He even wants to keep. He even claims he wants to, or he might keep our current police chief, which our next guy, Judge Joe Brown, said he will fire her. There's been all kinds of bad stuff. Crime is the number one issue here in Memphis, and do not believe Floyd Bonner's done enough to be tough on crime. Even the previous Jennings Bernard candidate, even he said that Floyd Bonner has not done enough to be tough on crime. And another candidate also said that, which would be number 9, James M. Harvey. So we have people who have, and ironically, even Van Turner said that which is another candidate, said that this guy has not been tough enough on crime. Doing his job, not done his job good enough. So that's part of the no reason. Number 4 is Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown. If you've seen the show, TV show, whatever, you know him. You could probably find all kinds of different stuff on there. He might be the most conservative of them all. He's pro-Constitution, pro-gun, pro-First, Second Amendment, all that stuff. He speaks common sense. He's actually the one they're trying not to let get on debates. People aren't inviting him to debates. It's interesting. He has all kinds of good economic and other kind of plans. He's for getting boys and men to be men again and girls to be women again. So he knows there's 2 genders and all that good stuff. He's a Trump supporter, and all that good stuff. So that's why he is a maybe on me. Now next is Kendra Calico. Kendra Calico, she's an interesting character. I think she is a female preacher, prophetess, whatever. She has some ministries. Somehow she's really young, but also like a millionaire. She does some kind of millionaire club. She has some kind of Memphis Millionaires Club. She also has some kind of interesting ministries that she runs. She even ran for president back in 2020, and she's run for some other things. And I think I even found her YouTube channel, but only had two videos. I couldn't find any websites for her, but I found her LinkedIn profile, which shows her having a lot of different jobs and experiences and stuff, and into a bunch of different nonprofits and stuff. So, yeah, she's kind of weird. She's a no for me on the fact that being a female pastor is unbiblical. So, yeah, that kind of stuff. Next is number 6, which is Karen Camper. Karen Camper is literally she's a no for me. She is literally the epitome of what's also known as a career politician. She's a Democrat, and she literally is a diehard Democrat. She supports like literally everything the Democrat Party platform supports, which is, yeah, it's no. She's definitely a no. Epitome of a career politician. Literally been in politics her whole entire life. So, yeah. Number 7 is maybe. It's J.W. Gibson. He's a businessman. He owns 3 businesses. He's just like Jennings, just like a lot of these are businessmen, and has some good economic development, youth development plans, mentorships, community activists. Has a little problem against them because he is kind of going to be for gun control like a lot of these other Democrat candidates. Number 8, Reggie William Hall is another maybe. But more likely a no, because they're going to have to raise taxes to do all his plans, which involves spending a lot of money. I mean, you read his platform on his website, it's tear down old structures, rebuild new housing structures. It's going to cost loads of money, which equals loads of taxes, and I'm against taxes. So I'm just going to tell you right now, no. He's no longer a maybe. He was a maybe, but then I read his profile about how much he's going to have to spend money. No. Too much money. Number 9, James Harvey. James Harvey is he claims to be a Republican, but he's ran as a Democrat, so he's a maybe. He's pro-constitutional. He's been he's been a business person, politician, community activist. He's bipartisan. He's even he got kicked out of the Democrat Party, the local Democrat Party, for basically voting with the Republicans too much, which kind of, what's that say for the Democratic Party right there? What's it say? Interesting character. Has a website. You can go read his platforms and whatnot and decide for yourself. That's why I said he's a maybe, because it seems like he switches sides a little bit. But you know who else switched sides? Trump. Trump used to be a Democrat, so now he's a Republican. So I guess people can change their mind, right? But he is, I guess he's Republican. Conservative, anyway. Number 10 is our former mayor, not one of our former mayors from a while back, Willie Herrington, Dr. Willie Herrington. He was okay as our educational person, but he was terrible as our mayor. And personally, he's had the job, so that's why he's a no for me. But also, Memphis has term limits of 2 and you're through for the mayor. That's why Jim Strickland, our previous mayor, can't run for mayor, because it's been 2 terms now. So personally, I believe that 2 and you're through policy, term limit policy, should be for all elected positions, and it should also apply to past. So if you've already had the job for 2 terms, anytime in the past, that should include part of your 2 and your 3 term limits. Deal. Number 11 would be Michell McKissack, community activist, has the most extensive, comprehensive, longest, most to read website where it has all kinds of info about her stance on everything. But again, she's female and she's a Democrat, and she said some things in the debates, various different debates that I've watched, that seem a little fascist to me, seem a little socialistic, communistic. Like, for example, she wants to appoint a crime czar, which basically it's a new position. We have a police chief. Why do we need a crime czar? We either need we need a citizen. We need a citizen, a civilian. Like Joe Brown said, we need a civilian in charge of the police department that's not part of the police department. Why is the police chief making more money than the mayor? A few other things that he was saying. But crime czar. A czar is something from Russia. It sounds like a military term. Sounds like she's going to militarize the police, which is fascism. Just to be tough on crime. Yeah. Anyway, 12. Brandon A. Pierce. This guy is a no for me because he's a transgender. He's a big transgender activist, LGBTQ, born a man, transitioned into a woman or whatever. supports all kinds of other liberal policies and Democrat agendas and whatnot, including gun control, trigger laws, stuff like that, which so does the next candidate, number 13, Justina Ragland, a biological, actual female, by the way. But if someone can't figure out what they were born as and then wants to switch around their genders, how are they going to figure out how to run a country or a nation or a city or whatever, right? Anyway, you can't be what God wants you to be. Well, how are you going to, be running a city? Number 13 is Justina Ragland, which is, again, it's a no for me. Because of the gun control, trigger laws, etc. But I read her website, and she does have interesting plans for being. She is a low tax Democrat, which is interesting. And she has, again, but a lot of them do. A lot of them have good infrastructure, youth development, community activism, police reform, different things like that. A lot of them have that kind of stuff. So, yeah. The next two candidates, number 14 and number 15, would be Tekeva Shaw and Derik Winn. Neither one of them have websites. All I could find out about Miss Shaw is that she is a realtor, and Mr. Winn is that he is a local baker at a restaurant. I couldn't find anything else about him, except another thing said that Shaw was a life coach, mystic too, and that Winn was a basically extreme environmentalist. Couldn't find anything else about it. Number 16 now, because I switched Winn with Turner, is Van Turner. No, we can't with Van. I know there's a thing going on that's saying Van can, Van cannot, because Van Turner is definitely a no. He's way too leftist, way too progressive, way too much for gun control, socialism, communism, liberalism. He's been a community activist. He's been part of the defund police groups. He's been part of Black Lives Matter groups, all that stuff. He is a lawyer, civil rights lawyer, activist, whatever, that's really in it for the money, only in it for the money. And no, definitely bad news, way bad news. Yeah, bad for Memphis, definitely bad news. And then number 17 is Paul Young. Young is new to politics, but he's getting the most money, which is weird. He's been a community activist. He's been into some of the. He's never held any political office in his whole entire life, but he has held other positions within the community. He's not necessarily is he a pastor, but his parents were pastors, so he has a big faith Christian belief system. And he doesn't have that much experience actually. But for some weird, odd reason, he's bringing in the most cash, which means that he's accepting money from special interest groups and rich people. So for some reason, the rich white liberals in Memphis, and maybe in some cases, maybe the rich white Republicans and other rich people want him in office for some reason, for some other agenda, I'm pretty sure. And then, of course, there is 18, which I forgot the guy's name, but he's the only white candidate, I believe, and he's also the only actual Republican, and he's on the city council, but I forgot his name. And personally, even though he's both white and a Republican, I believe he's more of a no, like a big fat NO, because again, this guy's just a career politician. He's just trying to step up the ladder. He hasn't really done much as city councilman, let alone going to, what good will he be being mayor? He's a coming in back end kind of deal. I think he may have actually dropped out of the race. That's why I believe that he's not on here. But there's also 3 other candidates that didn't get to make it, that did drop out the race. One was Flynn. Win with Flynn. Look up Flynn, George Flynn. Win with Flynn. He has YouTube. He has all kinds of cool stuff on it. Yeah, he's a really smart guy. He's a doctor. He has good plans. I like him. I would vote for him for mayor, but I think he either dropped out or didn't get enough signatures or something, so he wasn't able to run. And then there's like 2 other people, and one of them also dropped out. I don't know why, but they did. For some reason, one of them dropped out. He was running, and then he just quit, dropped out. Who wants a quitter, right? So I wouldn't support him anyway. He quit. He just dropped out. For what? No reason. Now, another person who dropped out of the mayor's race a long time ago was one of these candidates that had run for mayor, which was James Harvey. James Harvey dropped out when Strickland was running so that Strickland could win, I believe is kind of what he said. So Strickland wasn't the best mayor, so that's kind of a little... It's part of his wanting to be on both sides of the fences when it comes to Republican and Democrat. He also, though, wonders why the Republican Party would endorse certain candidates, which is what I also wonder why, when he's probably the best conservative, but the Republican Party is instead going to back Floyd Bonner and I think Paul Young, which is weird. He wonders why the Republican Party, when he is a registered Republican, would do that. Anyway, those are the 17 or 18 candidates for mayor, and whether they're yeses or nos, from my point of view, they're mostly they're no's. The ones that I would just I haven't decided between my maybes yet, which would, my most maybes would probably be Joe Brown, James Harvey, and J.W. Gibson. And I'm probably going to go... No. My top 3 no's would be Joe Brown. My top 3 yeses. My top 3 candidates for me would be Joe Brown, James Harvey, and Jennings Bernard. Those are my top 3. And if I'm going to pick a number 4 and a number 5, it would be number 4 would be J.W. Gibson, and number 5 would be one of my no's, which would be Paul Young. So my top 5 are probably in this order: Joe Brown, Jennings Bernard, James Harvey, J.W. Gibson, and Paul Young. Those are probably my top 5. So one of those will get my vote, and it's probably not going to be Paul Young. So, because I already wrote that he's in a note, but I'm giving you my top 5. Since J.W. Gibson and Paul Young are 2 of the people that are getting media attention and invited to debates and stuff, I think I would rather have Gibson than Young out of that group. My top 5 definitely do not pick any of these 5 are of course Willie Herrington, Van Turner. These are the 5 I would not vote for regardless, no matter what. Trying to find her. I said Willie Herrington, shoot. Where is she? Oh, yeah. Willie Herrington, Karen Camper, Van Turner, Brandon Pierce, and Michell McKissack. Those are definitely no's. I would not want any of those as now, out of all those, the lesser evil of all those, I believe, is Michell McKissack. Yeah. Out of all those, I believe that one is the lesser of any of the evils regarding this. So that's basically my stance on it. And of course, go vote. Every election. Do your research, study about the candidates, read their websites, find out their positions, watch any debates that they do, read any debates that they do, attend any debates that they do if that's possible, or listen to them on any podcasts or YouTubes or whatever that they do, and then pray. So find their stance, find the one that best supports or is closer aligned to what you personally believe, then pray. So after you did all that, after you write down and studied all your stuff, where you have your no's, your definitely no's, and then you have your maybes, like I just did for y'all, do that for every candidate. Then, that's running for any position of office, period. Then, do your final thing, which is pray and ask God, go, dear Lord, which one of these maybes do you want me to vote for? Who would you have me vote for? Because God might reveal to you, he might just reveal to you that he wants you to vote for somebody else. But my all-time top number one candidate that you should vote for, if you don't like none of these, I mean not a single one of them, is write my name in. Because Jeff Scarbrough for mayor would be amazing. Anyway, have a great day, and remember, God is good all the time. All the time. God is good. Keep on gaming. Keep on collecting. Keep on voting. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and now maybe you know a little bit more about me politically and my positions of political. And if you liked this type of deal, maybe I'll do it for additional elections, future elections, like the governor's race or the president's race or the Congress race or the Senate race. But I'm only going to do ones that I can actually participate in it. Because I don't think that I personally have the ability to tell you that live in a different city or a different state or whatever how you should vote. It's not my town. I don't live there. I don't have anything. I shouldn't have anything